The US Justice Department is worried about an anime monopoly after Sony, the owner of Funimation, bought Crunchyroll last year. So I'll be the first to tell you, I had no idea that Sony owned Funimation, and I had no idea that Sony bought Crunchyroll for $1.175 billion in December of 2020. Sony purchasing Crunchyroll is a plan that is reportedly concerning enough that the US Department of Justice is extending its antitrust review of the $1.175 billion purchase into a full-on probe. The DOJ, the US Department of Justice, is focused on whether the deal limits the options of Japanese studios looking to license shows in the United States. Warner Media and Sony have told the Justice Department that Crunchyroll and Sony's budding anime empire are just two of many options anime creators have to distribute their shows outside Japan. Controlling both Funimation and Crunchyroll means one thing in the context of anime streaming services in the United States, but taken with all the other things Crunchyroll does, like manga publishing and anime conventions, and the international anime companies Sony already purchased in Australia and France, the company could have a huge amount of control over the entire industry. So as for Sony's statement saying that, hey, Funimation and Crunchyroll are just two of many services anyone can use to watch anime, technically, yes. A lot of the animes that are on Crunchyroll and Funimation you can find on Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, but it goes without saying that Crunchyroll and Funimation are the big two. So when an anime studio wants to showcase their anime in the United States, not only do you want your anime on a bunch of different platforms, but in addition to that, you're definitely gonna want it on Funimation and Crunchyroll, and Sony knows that. So now when I first read this, I was like, honestly, I was like, you know, leave them niggas alone. As someone that has watched anime my entire fucking life, and before it was cool to do so, anyway, as someone that loves anime, it's just so much simpler to have the shows that I love to watch show up in very few places. I don't have to jump around and search everywhere. And by that I mean, look at what it's like to stream your favorite shows now. Your favorite shows may not just show up on just Netflix or just Hulu. They're going to be scattered among a bunch of different streaming services. So if you want to watch your favorite shows, you have to have Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. You get the point. But I also don't want to sit here and make it sound like I'm arguing for a monopoly. Yes, as the consumer, it makes things easier to go to very few places, but who knows? I have no idea what it's like to be an anime studio licensing to the United States. I don't know if it could be cool, I don't know, but I also don't know if it's incredibly frustrating to work with very few places. For example, an anime studio not having many options means that they don't have many options in terms of pay. And the same thing goes for censorship. For example, an anime studio may disagree with Funimation or Crunchyroll's decision to heavily censor a show and may want to take their show elsewhere, but they still don't have many other options to go to, and so they play ball. And not to mention that there is some healthy competition, like Netflix is definitely ramping up its anime section with a bunch of anime exclusives. Some great recommendations for Netflix is Seven Deadly Sins, BNA, The Great Pretender, Baki, Devilman Crybaby, and currently I'm watching High Rise Invasion. And on Amazon Prime, oh my god guys, watch Dororo. It is so good. It gives me Mushishi vibes, but more fast-paced. Absolutely loved Mushishi, by the way. Not a lot of people did, but watch Dororo. It's so good. Even though, yes, Netflix and Amazon and HBO Max and Hulu are ramping up their selection of anime, none of them specialize in just anime. When you go to Crunchyroll, when you go to Funimation, like more people gravitate towards it because it is specifically an anime service. Other than Crunchyroll having some drama on there, for the most part, it is just anime. Also, because Crunchyroll and Funimation specialize in just anime, they have all the older ones as well, and the ones that aren't considered mainstream, like Claymore in the original Berserk, before Netflix took Berserk and botched it with this whatever the fuck this is. So for people only wanting to be recommended anime shows, Crunchyroll and Funimation is pretty much it. So there's a lot of nuance and pros and cons to Sony owning Crunchyroll and Funimation. But do you think that Sony owning Crunchyroll, Funimation, and Omnipolex is too much? Do you think they own too much of the anime industry? Because they did in fact wipe away a lot of the competition by simply owning a majority of all that is anime in the US. Or do you think that Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and HBO Max is enough competition. Let me know how you guys feel about all this in the comments section. I love you all. I see you in the next one. Take care.